One family's tragic accident causes a boy to die, go to heaven, and return. Hello and welcome back to Encounters from Beyond the Veil. Churches. Many of us go every Sunday to worship and glorify Almighty God and to thank Him for His blessings. That's just what happened with one family one Sunday morning. On this particular Sunday, this family would experience tragedy, and one woman's faith would be tested to the limit.
I didn't see what he was yelling at. I didn't see the ambulance coming, but I remembered him yelling. That was the last thing I heard from him.
On a Sunday morning in 1997, Julie Kemp, her husband Andy, and their 8-year-old son Landon were driving home from church when an ambulance returning to its station broadsided their car in an intersection. Andy died instantly. Rescuers stabilized Julie, but did not realize there was a third passenger in the car.
They couldn't see his body because of the damage that was done to the driver's side of the car, and Landon was sitting behind his dad. And when they saw Landon's shoe, it took a deeper search for his body. When they pulled Landon out from the back of the car, he was not breathing. And they all started working on him right away to bring him back.
Landon was resuscitated and life-flighted to Carolinas Medical Center. He died 2 more times that day, and both times he was brought back to life. Doctors didn't give Julie much hope for his survival.
They told me that if he lived, which did not look good, but that if he lived, that he would be like an 8-year-old baby, that he would not know how to walk or talk or to eat. I was so desperate that was okay. I would take that just to have him. He was all that I had.
At her husband's funeral, Julie remembers feeling abandoned by God.
I was very disappointed, heartbroken. And while I'm sitting at the funeral, I'm fussing at God. I don't understand why this happened. I don't understand why He didn't send angels to protect us. But in the very next breath, I'm praying as hard to Him as I've ever prayed in my life for Landon to live.
Landon had suffered massive head trauma during the accident and remained in a coma.
He's hooked up to all kinds of machines to keep him alive. And there are no signs. There's nothing good or bad. They see nothing happening. I kept praying that he would open his eyes.
After 2 weeks in a coma, Landon opened his eyes. To everyone's amazement, he had no brain damage. But in the midst of her joy, Julie knew she had to tell Landon about his father.
He had scars on his face, and his head was just full of hurt. And I didn't want to hurt him anymore. So I asked Landon, I said, Landon, do you know where your dad is at? And he told me, yes, I know where he's at. I saw him in heaven.
Landon is now grown, but still clearly remembers his amazing experiences in heaven.
I remember being able to see my dad and his friend Olin Palmer, who had passed away less than a month before he did, also in a car accident, and Olin's son, Neil Palmer, who had died on a 4-wheeler years before. Never one of us said a word to each other, but we were just all standing there.
He looked over to me and says, oh, Mom, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I saw your other 2 kids. And I just looked at him because I wasn't sure what he was talking about, but I had 2 miscarriages before Landon was born. We had never shared that with Landon. He did not know that we had lost 2 children before him.
I knew that they were my siblings, even though no one had ever told me about them. Just being in heaven, I guess you know you know your own, or you know who everyone is.
He says each time he died, he had a different experience in heaven. During the third time, he says he met Jesus and was given a mission.
It was almost as if like a preview of a movie to where you only get to see certain bits and pieces of things. Jesus came to me and told me that I have to go back to earth and be a good Christian and tell others about him.
Today, through Grief Share, Landon and Julie use their story to help others who are struggling with loss and in need of hope.
I didn't understand in 1997, why God didn't send an angel, but I know that there were angels there, and I know that we were protected and we are living out what His plan is for us. Instead of staying mad at Him, I was able to use the story to help others not to give up and to keep their faith on their grief journey.
I just want people to realize that Jesus is real. There is a heaven, there are angels, and to follow His word in the Bible, and life does get better at the end.
In her book, Faith Has Its Reasons, Julie says God has used their experience to bring others closer to Him and has brought new blessings to them.
It is a huge blessing that I get to watch my child tell others about Jesus. He is always willing to let others know that there is a heaven because he's been there.
I know I'm doing it for Jesus. I know that He's real. I know that angels are there. I know that there's a heaven. I'm not doing it for someone who I don't know or I've never seen. I've seen Jesus. I know He's there. He's asked me to doing this, and this is what I'm doing.
Well, I guess you could say Landon's life has truly changed, and his mother's faith has been restored. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe so you'll be always notified of our future episodes. Until then, I'm Brad Polk for Encounters from Beyond the Veil.